Hello, everybody. This is Raymond Hawkins, one of the developers and owners of BrightSide Rental Management. I wanted to give you all a quick update on some of the stuff we've been changing over the past month or so. We're going to start trying to do releases more on a weekly basis with release notes on those, so you can stay up to date with what's going on. Um, as you all have seen, there's been a lot of changes lately, and I want to just touch on that real quick. So obviously, we're not interested in just changing things for the sake of change. That's not a good idea, and that's not what we're doing. We're uh, really actively working to make the system better. And one of the reasons we are changing the look of things, there's a couple major reasons. So, one is just that uh, previously we had no consistent design across different screens. Like, your reports, there was several different formats for reports that you might see sometimes, one, sometimes another, sometimes another, and really trying to consolidate that into a single design so that it's, where to look for your filters and generally how stuff is going to work. This makes it more intuitive, even if it feels less intuitive, if you've been using the other for 10 years, um, for it to all, work the same will make it easier to understand and know where to look for stuff as time goes on. Another reason is pretty much none of the old screens were mobile friendly. And so with new design, we're working on making it a mobile friendly design. Typically, you've got your filter options or uh, list options on the first screen on mobile or on the left sidebar on larger screens. And then once you go into that, you've got your main view. The Another reason is uh, we're updating the technology stack that our whole system is built on, and this really allows us to make changes much more efficiently. So when you ask for something, it doesn't take us several months to get it complete. We're able to do it, much faster. So those are the main reasons we're changing things, and we're definitely listening very closely to feedback from all of you. Really appreciate when y'all send that, whether it's positive or negative. We do listen to all of that and appreciate you using the software. So without further ado, here's some of the stuff we've been up to in the past month. We completely redid the owners screen. So under properties and owners, where you can see all of your owners. Um, this is now mobile friendly. So if you're on a phone or so list, you can click on it to view the 40 details, and then you can bring out this sidebar as needed. Some of the new features with this, you can easily print a list of all these or export it to a spreadsheet. You have full change logging. So if you click on this, you can see all the changes that anybody has made and when they made them. You can also see all the properties attached to it, as well as any payment overrides associated with those. So we can see the unit, management fee on each one. And then, this one, the overall owner is set to just pay by check. But then if we see this one has an override where it's, using direct deposit to send it. This is all, of course, fake information. And you can set those overrides for different ones. So if you have an owner that, has different properties paid out to different accounts, it's much easier to both see that and change it. You can also click on any of these to go straight to the unit and view the information on there. We've made several updates to our new reservation screen. So if you go here, previously, if you wanted to search by, say, 4 or more bedrooms, you had to click 4, 5, and 6 on here. Now you can easily just click on this plus next to it, and that will automatically select 4+ bedrooms. We also made it where you can easily click on here to bring up your unit details that you're used to seeing on the old screens. We added the clean and dirty indicators that you have on the old screens. In addition, when getting quotes, if I get a quote like this, as always, you can sort by quote amount. So we made it where you can easily hover over this to see the breakdown of any quote, and this is something that's easy to copy and paste if you just need a quick summary of the reservation. We're continuing to improve this screen a lot and appreciate all of your feedback and helping us make it better. We redid the amenity screen, so under properties and unit features, you can see on mobile, you would see this list, click on it, and it would bring it up for any of them. added a few new things on the list, like, easy searching. Uh, for those, you can see like the ones that are internal amenities that are hidden. You can filter certain categories or, hide the internal ones entirely. You can make new ones using this. On DM, you've got your all the same options as before with a little bit more information about, what these mean, like the searchable, what that means. Um, and then on the unit values, you can see what it is set to on each property, and you can filter, search by units on here. You can click on this to only see the ones that actually have something set for each amenity. Under reservations, the reservation list has been rewritten entirely. It's now mobile friendly and quite a lot of new features. So one thing right off the bat, the new reservations do now show up at the top instead of the bottom. So before, you'd end up with just one page, possibly that, with the latest reservation on it. Now, by showing the newest at the top, you can always see those at the beginning. And if you go, you can always see more pages instead of having to sometimes scroll back just to see the most recent ones. Uh, you can then sort this in any way that you want to. So you can sort by, data's, arrival dates, for instance, if you want to see, furthest in the future or something like that. You can filter by statuses. So if you want to just, see all your canceled reservations, you can do that. You can filter by channel, so where it came from. This demo copy doesn't have any, VRBObooking.com, Airbnb, homes and villas by Marriott Bonvoy reservations. But if it did, the logos for those would show up next to here. To clear the filters, there's that clear all button up there. There's lots of filters. You can see, just all the maintenance blocks, for instance, or, all our stays on our maintenance blocks. Whatever you want to. You can search by user if you want to see, just reservations entered by a certain user. You can do that. And you can, filter by certain units, any which way you want. And it's also mobile friendly. So if we, simulate on a mobile device, we can, see these in a much easier format than before. And it's quite fast. Under reservations reports, the unit reservations report has been rewritten completely, so it's easier to see everything. You can easily print it, export it. We also added a new option to show all fees. So if you need more of a complete export of your reservations, you've got this with breakdown of all your fees in here. It's more, real-time filtering, so you can see, everything that just includes today, things that are arriving today, easy selection of, certain day ranges. So if we just want to see all the ones from last month, that's now much easier to filter down to. We also made several updates to the new maintenance screen. So first off, if you're logged in as a user that's associated with a contractor or employee, you can now click on this My Tasks link up here, or it's under here also. And that will bring you straight to the list of all of your stuff that is incomplete and assigned to you. So I'm logged in as this Gordon Freeman user, and it's showing just everything that's assigned to me. So that's new. We also updated it where you can, you can make changes directly in this list. So, if this is scheduled, what is this old demo data, but if this was scheduled back then, I could, reschedule it for another day, or, maybe I need to schedule it for tomorrow. I can do that. You can change the priority, like, actually this is a lower priority theme. You can, you can change the assignee from here, like actually, somebody else needs to do this one, and you can change the status within here. In addition, you can make bulk changes. So if I want, let me just do, several of these. If I select multiple of them, I can change the dates on all of them to another day, and it'll confirm that you want to change all of them, and then make that change across the board. And so this can be really helpful for your dispatchers or whoever's, managing this to, change stuff around as needed. Maybe there's stuff that you need to carry over from one day to the next, and you just need to change somewhat once. You can now do that. Let's see. The speed of this in general is much faster than before, like just how fast these screens come up is a lot faster. On maintenance issues, in the files, you now have a better image previewer, so you can easily click on this just to view the picture. If it's rotated normally, you can easily rotate it, zoom in and out and stuff. Where previously, couldn't do any of that. Fix some issues printing on, especially iPhones. Before you had to click several buttons to get it, whereas now it will bring, actually even on any devices, this will now go straight to the print screen. Before you had to click on print, choose whether or not you wanted pictures, and then actually click on the print button inside of there, whereas now it will go basically just straight to the print screen where you choose your printer and print it. If you want to print it with photos, you now click this little arrow and do print with photos. With the new screen, we've also, I'm not sure this is totally new since our last release notes, but all changes do get logged to the change log. You can now more easily hide the sidebars of stuff that you don't want to see. We also add the ability to upload additional types of files. So before you could only upload pictures to this, now you can upload, PDFs or spreadsheets or whatever you want to attach to these, and improve the way that these boxes work. Or they were a little awkward, but now it's much easier to find what you want with them. Also under maintenance, we've updated the maintenance calendars with several new features. So if you're not familiar with these give you public links that you can use. It's a long URL, so this basically acts as a password. So anybody with this link can view just the availability information on the units associated with this calendar. So, but in addition to it now being mobile friendly, you can also create calendars for specific cleaners or owners. So let's say if we wanted to orange units or something, assign it to a certain cleaner. Now it'll dynamically just show whatever properties are assigned to him as a cleaner. So if I click on that and view that, even if I'm logged out, like if I open an incognito window and view this link, this does work on mobile. And it will show, just to say, it doesn't give any personal information, but it does show the different, it just shows the dates. You can also click on dates if you want to see everything that's available on a certain date or everything that's checking in on a certain date. So like if I click here, I would just see the things checking in on this day or things checking out on a certain day. So if I do this, I would see just what's checking out on that day. You can see what's available. So that's the new maintenance calendars. We also updated pretty much all of these issue setup screens. So setup issue types, where you can set up the different types of issues that exist. It's a new mobile-friendly format. Print templates, where you can choose where the template that it prints, they print with. Unit maintenance info screen, where you can set up all of your maintenance info items that you track on each unit. The issue templates, where you can set up different templates for your maintenance issues. And the recurring issues screen, where you can set up recurring maintenance issues. All those have been rewritten in the new mobile-friendly format. No real new features on those ones, but other than being mobile-friendly and easier for us to develop on going forward. Under management reports, reservationist analysis, this report's been rewritten to be much faster and mobile-friendly as well. So this is where you can see how your different reservationists are doing and where some of your bookings are coming from in a given month. Under reports and advanced deposits report, this report's been rewritten in a new format, making it consistent with the others. It also has a new option to filter by unit, where you can just see advanced deposits for a certain property, which you couldn't do in the old screen. Under properties reports, the unit occupancy percentages report we've rewritten in a new format. This it's now much easier to select certain date range, so you could easily look at, say, last month, for example. It has the same, bedroom filters as before, but where you can easily select multiple of those where you couldn't before. Like if I want to see 1 and 2 bedrooms, but not my other ones I can do that now, or if I just want a certain set of properties, I can now view that. You can also filter by reservation type, or if you want to exclude certain types. And then it also lets you group by in different ways. So you could group by unit type and bedrooms before, but now you can also group by date. So if I want to look at each day individually, or I can even look at, I'm looking at 1 month, but if I want to look at each week, I can do that. Or if, say, I'm looking at, last year in its entirety, I can have it grouped by month to see uh, the dates there. Previously, it also had an option to include inactive units or not, and this was fairly confusing because if you didn't include inactive units, you wouldn't see the full picture, but if you did, you could get skewed up data also because it was including properties that weren't even on the program. It now just automatically is basing it based on when the property is actually on your program, and so you no longer have to filter by that, and that makes this more accurate and easier to use. Under cleaning, we've also updated the unit cleaning list to the new format. So it's now, we kept this largely the same, but yeah, maybe a little easier to see what each button does with hovering. It's also now mobile friendly, which the old one wasn't. So if I preview this on mobile, you can now easily see what each thing does and uh, mark it clean or skip it on mobile, just like you can on desktop. We also updated the unit cleaners, which you can easily, um, uh, you can assign units. We previously didn't have filtering on this, so now you can, just search for, a certain owner, certain cleaners units and filter it to those. Maybe you need to reassign all of those to somebody else. It's now much easier than before. And you can easily filter by properties and bedroom sizes. In addition, you can easily print or export this, which that's true of the cleaning list as well. You can easily print this, and we have an easy refresh button here, so you don't have to refresh the whole page. You can just click on that to refresh the status of this list. We've made some cool improvements to the guest messaging screen. So, uh, one example, I've got two different windows here where one's logged in as one user and another's logged in as another. And if I start typing on this one, you'll see now the other one will automatically show up that somebody else is typing, and vice versa if this one's typing, it'll show up here. So that can help, not have two people respond to the same thing. In addition, if I just bring up my test environment here, um, if somebody sends you a photo, you can now attach it directly to any of the reservations on there. So here, at least it is saying, here's my photo ID. I can now click this attach button and I can choose, save as photo ID, save as contract. Like if you have somebody sign something, scan it and send it to you on there or something, or save as a reservation file if you just want to attach it to the reservation separately. So if I choose that, if there's only one reservation, it'll just attach it to do that. In this case, in my test environment, I've got a ton, so I can choose which reservation I want to attach it to, do next. In this case, that one already has a photo ID, so I can choose whether to replace it, add it as an additional photo ID. I can choose which one I want to do. If I do that, now if I go to that, let's see, this one ending in 26, this now, the photo ID is attached to this reservation. We added a new guest merge screen. So if I click on this, I can see all of my guests, and we'll be improving the screen over time to work as a general guest management screen. But so if I search for, there's search for, I'm already merged. Oh, here we go. So here's our support ones in here a couple of times. So I can choose all three of those and choose merge, and it will automatically pick out how it wants to merge it. So I've got name here. You can choose which one of those you want to use. If their stuff matches on different ones, it'll just use that one. But if there's multiple things, it'll let you choose which one is the correct one. So in this case, there's a few different versions of this. Number 1 and number 3 had the same one. Number 2 had it slightly different. So you can choose that. Which one is applicable, and then merge those. And now all of those will get put into a single guest record that, so any reservations assigned to them will get merged into one. We made several changes to the fees and charges screen with some new features and improvements. So it's in a new mobile-friendly format. Be consistent with the other new screens. Uh, but yeah, some of the new features. So first off is for ones that vary per unit, you can now click on this unit values here and see what is actually set for on each property. You can also filter it down just to ones that have overrides. But say if this one was $20 a night instead of 15, uh, that would now you can now set that easily on here, whereas previously you'd have to go to every individual unit in order to set that. In addition, we added a new credit. Well, we've always had a credit to owner option, but we added a big new feature where you can now change how it is split with the owner. So you can do as a certain percentage, like if I want 10% of this fee to go directly to the owner, I can choose that, or I can do match rent split. And so that will match the management commission. So, if you did this and you were on a, say 80-20 split, the owner would get 80% of this fee and you would get 20% of it. We also added the ability to limit charges to certain stay types. So previously we sort of had this for the cleaning fee where you could set up a cleaning fee and charge different amounts for owner stays versus guest stays. But now those can just be, you can do that with any fee just by setting up multiple fees and choosing which stay types you want it to apply to. That way, if you can have different amounts for different ones or have, owners get charged, some other charge. Yeah. Or even just to create new reservation types that you want to charge different fees on. In addition, we've always had where you could choose to, or not always, but we've had for a long time, we've had the ability to choose date ranges that the charges apply to, but now you can add additional date ranges. So, if you want to, maybe this is, in this example, maybe it's, January through March every year, you can easily create additional date ranges that will apply to, in other years. Or however you want to do that. If you want to exclude certain dates or whatever, you can now do that. And lastly on this, we've added support for much more complex pet fee setup. So you can do, two different fees for regular size pets or large pets if you want that set up. But you can do things like set up a pet fee that covers up to some amount of pets, or a pet fee that, maybe charges, one amount for the first two pets and then an additional fee for all additional pets, or different setups like that previously required custom code. You can now set those up yourselves. We've also got some new features on the guest letters section. So we've done this custom for some people, but now can do it everywhere. So you can now schedule letters to send when there's a gap night before or after, or before and after a reservation. So that's means, say if they're departing on the 1st and somebody's arriving on the 3rd, you've got that gap night there. You could set this up to send letters to both of those people that would maybe offering them promotion. We're going to continue to bid on this and add, hopefully where they can even just click a link to book that. But for now, you can easily contact them, do that. So I've got our text set up here where it says like, hello, would you like to add an additional night to your stay? We can offer you 50% off on the, that night. And it's set up to send if there's a gap night after the departure. You could set up different letters for like, after departure, before arrival, or both, before and after. And you can also choose how many days within arrival. So in this case, or in departure in this case, it's sending to everybody who's got a gap night after their stay that's, departing within 90 days. You could set that up, just to be like one day if you wanted to send, on the day before their departure at, a certain time of day. It's set up to send, to, set this super large to send it to anybody who's got gap nights after their stay. And yeah, that's a new feature we've added today. We updated the properties automatic rate adjustment screen to the new format. So it's now mobile friendly and consistent with the other new screens. This is where you can set up different pricing rules where it'll automatically adjust the rates on certain properties based on your occupancy with different rules on how it does that. Last but not least, if you click on here and go to log out, you can now see the user you're logged in as.